back and relax. You're not in a cage. You're here on the cool with those hunks that you know. If you've got the time, then we've got the show. Smugglers Cove, Smugglers Cove, Smugglers Cove, Smugglers Cove.
Aliens and Earthlings. I'm Kutzky The Space Pimp.
And I'm Tony Tallboy. Welcome back to another edition of Smugglers Cove.
Wrong side. On tonight's episode, we will be doing as we always do.
Oh, it wasn't about genitals.
Sure fucking wasn't.
I figured, I knew it's like one of those things, but at the same time I was like, I really don't know what this.
I was washing my hands in there and I heard you telling Diane that this night's list of questions was funny and weird questions to ask your friends about your genitals, and I giggled.
Yeah, I figured, yeah. Well, that's why I didn't look, because I was like, Kayla's probably just getting one over on me, and that's kind of like where I lose out, because I can't tell when this man here is just, well, I suppose I can now, but earlier you had up the preview for the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was hidden from my sight, but I chose to stay blind.
That's what I was doing.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, and hilarious.
Ho ho.
Well, we will do all that, but... First things
first, yeah. As we are inclined to do.
Here on the Cove.
On the Cove, we like to begin each episode with a smoke. And that's our inclination as we proclamate.
Yeah, and procreate episodes to the interweb.
We could not use the word procreate, that'd be dope.
I've figured out how to touch the editor right. There's nowhere I could have went.
Yeah, this is not getting better as time goes on.
Back to due north. Let's bring it on to the Liverpool corner. As it is, as it's been, we will be pulling a card from Dr. Liverpool's Animal Tarot.
Oh, yes.
Again?
I love to read. I need to practice reading out loud, and this is a good audience.
I like that dynamic. I fucked up a number of those readings, so I'm kind of not unhappy to not be doing the readings. And this is more balanced.
Well, I would say. I mean, it's taking me less time to start my pipe now, so I don't really need the whole however long it takes you to do the tarot.
Oh. Pro in the building. Huh. Peacock.
Guy did a little peacocking at Value Village today.
Did I?
I did.
I did too.
I bought my new shirts.
True.
Oh yes, you have something to show the viewers.
Peacock, let yourself stand out and be noticed.
Just opened up.
Damn.
There we go.
Well, if these don't get me noticed, nothing shall.
Between all the purple and the podcast, if those don't work,
I'm just
basically just have to become a hermit.
Rolling uphill and losing. And falling back down. I think I got it. Do you care?
What?
To read?
Oh! I was like, no, the glasses don't offend me. I didn't realize if there was more on the bottom of the card or not.
No, just real short and sweet. Let yourself stand out and be noticed. Peacock.
Let yourself stand out and be noticed. It's time to step forward and stop hiding behind any of the facades that you've developed over the years. Although these personas have been highly adaptive and have helped you along the way, for which you can be grateful, there's more to you to express to the world, and it's ready to emerge. There's a certain safety and comfort in being inconspicuous and always staying in the background. Yet in playing it safe in this way, others don't have the opportunity to get to know who you really are. And you don't get to experience the richness and textures that are possible by participating more fully in life. By remaining in the background, you not only alienate yourself from others, but often end up allowing others to choose for you. Doing so can make you feel like a passive victim of life.
Mm-hmm.
Being noticed does have some risks. People may criticize or judge you, particularly if they're not used to you asserting yourself in such a way. Or you may judge yourself, which can be an even harsher sentence. These are the most likely risks, but they're actually very minimal. So shed any guilt or shame about coming out with who you are. Wear more colorful clothing. Sing, dance. Tony, please stop being naked. Wear more colorful clothing. Sing, dance, and let others know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. You can do so with grace, dignity, and enthusiasm. And you might even enjoy it.
Well.
Oh, associations. Self-confidence, clairvoyance, sensitivity, healing, dignity, laughter, leadership, gracefulness, flamboyance, colorfulness, cheerfulness, radiance, attractiveness. Thank you, Mr. Liverpool.
Thank you indeed. Make you think of anything?
Me?
Yes, you.
No, but that's what it makes me think of.
Oh, you.
Because, as we've discussed before, like, stop wearing just fucking khakis and t-shirts, and now I'm actually wearing, well, I mean, it's not much of an upgrade, but actually caring about how shaved I am during the week instead of just being like, no one cares if I look pretty. And putting shit in my hair for once that I've never really done before, or when I did, it just didn't work out. And actually, I don't know, caring about how I look to a degree of like I want to look nice, not obviously super fancy, but
yeah, kind of the self-worth thing of dress yourself up because I appreciate.
And that's just it too. Like even when I just started wearing my actual clothes to work and changing into my clothes, and not just wearing my work clothes out after work, made such a difference. Like, so for the viewers who don't know me as a dishwasher, I would just go to work in like ripped basketball shorts and a Captain Morgan t-shirt that had just bleach stains all over it, and then this schmuck would actually take me out in public after my shift on Fridays, and it's like, you really want to be seen with me? And I didn't care, because I just go to the bar and it's like, oh, these are my work clothes. I smell like grease and old food and water and chemicals, and just sit there drinking with my bleach stained clothes and my friggin' basketball shorts. Like,
did you not have like a pair of black shoes, like black sneakers as well with the...
Yeah, those are still my black shoes. I still use those for
Those are the
work.
Kitchen shoes. Okay.
Yeah. They're super comfy on my bare feet. I was wearing those when I was at Buddy's place. Because, I just went over to his place after work on Saturday. They're super comfy. Way comfier than my yellow sneakers.
You were in them barefoot in them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fine?
Yeah, man. They're like little slippers. I'm surprised. They also seem to be lighter when I don't have my socks on. I don't know.
Huh.
Odd.
What kind of socks you wear? Chainmail socks?
Well, I wear heavy socks, typically. Unless they're my shark socks.
I only brought them up because to me they were like the final piece of the get-up. It was just like, looked like old man New Balances, and then the bleach stained shirt. I never really like judged you for it or really cared. It was just kind of like, well, that's what he's doing, and it's just about that. And I guess when you said you wanted to get into picking out clothes and developing a style, I was like, you've come to the right place, my man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I could not have picked a better best friend to pick. Just like, oh, we can talk about smart things and I can stop looking like a schlub. Dope.
Win. Yeah, we've got some killer shirts. Tony got a killer jacket this evening.
Yeah, for real.
Truly. Had a lucky penny in the pocket.
So I already knew I was going to buy it anyway, but when I reached in, I was like, oh, a penny. For those of you who are new to Canada viewing, Oi, no, A.
A boot. It's a
We're
boot
talking
time,
about pennies now,
Tune
eh? Anyway, pennies, we don't make them anymore, so it was a really shiny 2011 penny. That's just good luck, so.
I was gonna tell you, I'm trying to remember. I feel like it was a toonie, because I think also no, the two jackets have had money in them. The one that you convinced me to buy, the like trippy LSD looking one, yeah, space jacket.
Yeah.
That one had a penny in the pocket, and then I tried on this kind of two-tone blazer. I took the shoulder pads out of it and tried to sew it back together, and she's still kind of not yet in commission, but it had a toonie in one of the pockets. And I was like, well, I'm buying this. I just get $2 off. So
yeah,
it's good luck. You find a nice, a clear-cut sign to take it home with you.
Well, yeah.
Enjoy.
I'd say so.
For me, the peacock made me think about my book. I told you I watched the Gem Goddess April tarot cards. So the deck that I pulled immediately went into, you're going to get good news about a contract, and you're going to have like a green light on something. I knew what she was talking about. I sent that book off in November and haven't heard back from it yet. And I've griped about it on one of the episodes, just about the stress of being in the unknown and not knowing if it's going to go or not. And I'm going to unpack a few things here because it has layers. I've kind of known that I was going to be a writer since 2012, 2013, and I've always had this image of, like kind of quintessential movie writer. Not that I write movies, but like if you see a writer portrayed in the movies, kind of glorious, like, well known, blah blah blah, and like writers tend to be a bit reclusive, stuff like this. Whatever goes with it, I just pictured like that's the writer that I'm going to be. I'm not going to be, just some dude who has like a little mini cult following that was going to be like worldwide. And I kind of struggled with that notion a bit because on one hand, obviously, it's like, well, why wouldn't you want that? Like, your book's well known, or your books are well known, and people like what you do. Like, that's cool, right? But I also felt like, is this a pretentious, douchey thing to think of myself? Like, I am deserving of this, or I am worthy of this? Like, it takes a lot of when you said that judging yourself is one of the hardest hurdles, like,
yeah,
there it is right there, where it's like, all right, I gotta like own this. I gotta be content with this. I gotta, not that I gotta, but since it felt so natural that was where I was destined, the whole coming to accept that was a very long process. So eventually I got to a point where it's like, yeah, all right, I'm cool with it. But when I got to that point, it was like maybe 2015. And so here I am in 2023. It's been this long period of like, I know that this is what I'm going to be, and I specifically choose not to do a lot of things in life that don't have anything to do with that. Like, for example, jobs. It's just like, I'm not going to take this job. I'm going to be a writer, and when I'm a writer and I have, my books published and I make money off that, I'm going to be completely fine. So until then, suck it, workforce type thing, and I just lived my life the way I've been living it since, and lots of ups and downs, as you could imagine. But today in the car, I was driving back from my parents' house, and seeing my parents is always like an emotional thing since I've moved out, just that I miss them and I love them so much. And there was a period in my life where I'd run away a couple times, and one instance I ran away to Vancouver for a year, and that was kind of because I was like, my life as a writer is not popping off here in Moncton. I gotta get out of town, go do something elsewhere, and that's where it'll pop. Like, I was like, I figured it out. Anyways,
big city.
Yeah, didn't really help the writing. I wound up running away from Vancouver to, I wanted to go to Bristol. I was like, Vancouver's not working, I need to go to England. So I did, and it also didn't work in England. So when I came back from that, I came back from England to Vancouver, and then Vancouver, the job I was working at, started getting in hot water for some of their shady car dealings, and it just kind of naturally was imploding, and I hopped ship before it really fucking hit home with the dealership. So when I made it back here, I was like, all right, I'm never trying to move again until my book's published. I just can't do this to myself of going somewhere and then not being able to sustain it and not being, you know, as creative as I was when I was here. Despite all my troubles here, I was still at least producing and writing regularly. Anyways, all that just gives you insight to who I am and how I've lived my life in the years up until now as the person you're seeing. But to tie it back to my parents and leaving, so I was kind of having this emotional thing where it's just every time I see them, I'm so happy for the years I got to have with them when I wasn't working and wasn't doing anything. Because obviously I shit on myself a lot of like, dude, you gotta get a job, like, you know, the book's not popping now, so just get a job and just do that and it'll come. And I couldn't buy that answer. Like, I would tell myself that and I'd just be like, that's bullshit. Like, I'm not fucking, you know, just taking some slouch job to fucking have a job. And to me, it was all just playing an image. Like, you know, well, this is what you do. If it doesn't pop, you just wait. And it's like, that's people's logical advice. And logic is, well, it's a double-edged sword. So I was trying not to get cut by the stupidity of it. Anyways, as I was driving back, I had this thought of a lot of my writing has to do with, you know, I embrace the whole alien thing. Like, the whole space pimp is something that, you know, I'd come up with, and sometimes I'd play it off as tongue-in-cheek, but there's a deeper meaning to it behind me of the whole being an alien on Earth and thinking about your home planet and then thinking about this planet and thinking, why would you be on this planet? And it's probably to help this planet become more like your home planet. And so there's a longing for the ways that my home planet worked that was just far more efficient in absolutely every regard than the way that we're doing it now. And so what that does to me, gives me this perspective of we as a species on Earth are a young species, and the planet I came from was much older, and we had just basically done everything that we're doing here, you know, working out the kinks and figuring out how to make this more of a utopia. And so a lot of the writing that I do kind of revolves around that notion of bringing this world into the balance that it inevitably is gonna be. So I don't know if I help kind of fast track that, or if I just give a voice to the people who feel the out of sync, the out of balance nature of our current habits and long for something better. I feel like that's kind of a really general statement, because I think all of us would like life to be better, you know, just period. I think that's a safe assumption to make of all of us.
We all eat.
And we all would like the food to not kill us. So then there's this other part where I am, like, I guess, deeply spiritual, and I read all these things and believe things that people just A, don't believe, or B, have never even heard of to even have the option to believe. But I do see a growing number of what we call star seeds and people who are spiritually inclined towards the idea of that there's aliens here on Earth, and the aliens here are to help make Earth the Earth that it can be. And so I had this moment where I was like, am I the voice of, like, I get to encompass the sadness we all feel? Like, my writing feels like it's this bigger tool than just myself. It's not just I'm trying to write a story. Like, I never really write fiction. It's always about the emotional entanglements with the real life dealings that we have to go through, and just the obvious potholes, and trying to, I don't know, rise above that and see it for something not as dire as it can really seem sometimes. And so it was not really an epiphany moment, but like I felt almost this scary weight of my book's gonna be published soon, and when it gets published and it's revealed like what it is, it's obviously gonna be super helpful to a good chunk of people, but it's also gonna like thrust a responsibility upon me that is something I'm well equipped for. All this studying and all this way I've been living up until now has been preparing me for it, but it was just like this holy fucking shit, like that's a lot. And
what responsibility do you mean?
Well, to maintain the eyes that see the world the way that I do, and to be able to translate it. I don't really think that's much of a maintaining thing. I think I inherently am that, and so it's just a natural byproduct of the way that I process the world. But still, it will feel like a responsibility to uphold that, because the way in which it affects people, and quite likely for the better, it's like I then would be called upon to be, that person. And so
you really got to dig your heels in.
To continue to be that person, or
yeah, basic. Well, I just mean like you really then have to, like, I don't know. You really have to stay the course and continue and keep growing so that you can help other people keep growing, right?
So to me that part was like yes, but like obviously, like there's no other way. And so it was just maybe the more so like the weight of it was like, fuck, that's gonna be my life. Like it's gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be seen, for one. He's talking about being reclusive and blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, I've kind of been reclusive, I've almost had the luxury to be reclusive, because it's like, well, people don't know this, they don't treat it with the same respect and regard that I do yet, and so I can kind of just be this, good writer and fly under the radar. And it's like I've been almost fucking churning out uranium or something, and it's like there's so much of it now that it's just an unavoidable glow. And anyways, the amount of responsibility that I felt came with what I've been longing for, because this is where it's kind of layered, like juxtaposed or paradox. It's like I've wanted this book to be published, and I've basically just wanted the money, so I'm not like not broke or just not under the thumb of anyone. And I don't necessarily feel so much that that's the best way to describe how I am right now. I'm not really under thumb, but to just have the independence that gives me, that's what I've been craving for the most. Of just, all right, now it's I make my own money, I make my own, well, I've been making my own decisions, but it's like I then get to a point of kind of just suck it. Like I don't have to do anything any which way that was ever suggested to me. Like if I give an example, like, oh, go to the market and try and like sell your book. Like, no, I'm not a fucking author who stands at the market and tries to peddle you my fucking manuscript. Like, that's never been me. I've felt that the writing is worth more than the like getting up early to go to the market. Like, there's nothing about that screams me. So it's like, no, my work should not only reflect me, it should also be like just mirror my life, like not make me try and verge out of my natural rhythm to have it be where I see that it fits. And so I don't know if I needed to wait this whole long period because of this reason or that reason. That's a whole conundrum that I go through in my head of like, was the world just not ready for my writings like 10 years ago or 5 years ago? Was it something like that? That sometimes feels true, but it has often felt like there's just something that I haven't figured out that I need to get out of the way in order to let this come through. And
so that's the peacock is telling you to...
The peacock is just kind of telling me like, you're about to be noticed, and it's like that's what's coming up here. Like it's right here, and it's gonna alter your life a bit, but it's I guess the dig your heels in part could be where it's like that's gonna alter your life, but you've been so like I said you as me, like I've been so the way that I am that I've created this like almost weight that doesn't let me get shifted by the altering of my life, but it is gonna alter me. So it's like it's not just taking me up to like a stage or something. It's like taking my whole fucking room up to the stage and like all my habits and stuff. It's like it's unearthing the whole thing, not just like, oh no, here's the writer. It's like, no, here's this guy who does all this shit these strange ways, but it works, and like these are the reasonings why. Like it's, I guess there's the vulnerability of now everything's on display, whereas I used to be able to just hide or something. I don't feel like I was hiding, but I don't know, I feel like I've expressed it the best that I can. There was this sort of epiphany moment, and it was scary because how certain it was that it is now on my doorstep. And that's what was like, holy shit, it's here. It's not just the dream that I've been striving towards. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's the times now. So thank you, Peacock, I guess. I don't know, it reflected my day today, or my thoughts about that pretty on the point, on the nose. So
okay, good.
I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it fucking makes sense. This is what I'm fucking second guessing. I know that fucking made sense. So understand it, and then if it's not understood, then ask me some questions I can clarify. But it's there for you, and that's what I wanted to say about Peacock. So funny questions about our genitals?
I'd say it's that time, yeah.
Alright. We will go here to Logan Q. Quickly's list of juicy questions. He's got 257 of these fuckers. We are on number 112.
Mm-hmm.
The topic starting, as you already know, funny questions and weird questions to ask your friends. Not about your genitals.
Not about the genitals.
No, I tried to trick Tony. It semi-worked.
I think I knew, but at the same time, I think mostly I didn't want it to be true because I know that we would be able to make a show out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, my dad asked me where you can find the podcast the other day. I was like, oh, just YouTube, Google Smugglers Cove. And then I really started thinking, like, what am I putting on the internet? I don't want him to, like, remember to look up the podcast in a week and then have questions about your genitals. Like, it's like, oh no, what is Tony doing? Just, like, spending all night with this new friend that he has. He's a very handsome man. And now he's
kind. Yeah.
He's talked about genitals with him back and forth for about an hour and a half now, going on to Tony, no!
I thought you were making positive changes.
Yeah, really.
You heathen.
We already had the gay stare.
My fallen from grace. Research shows that shared laughter brings people together. If you're looking for some lighthearted conversation or opportunities for witty banter, these questions let you explore your goofy side. Thank you.
I honestly thought that was all part of question 112. I was like, get to the friggin' point, Logan.
Well, here is the point.
Mm-hmm.
Number 112. Have you ever waved at someone thinking you know them, only to realize they are the wrong person?
Have you ever whistled at someone out the window of your car, thinking it was someone, and it turned out to be the wrong person?
You have, I take it.
Do you not remember? You thought it was your cousin unloading that truck?
Holy shit.
Yeah, please. Like, I thought that was going to cue you in right away.
No, I've had many moments like this. So
okay.
There's a number. We were driving to, here, Smugglers Cove's headquarters. Mm-hmm. And my cousin owns the house next door. So she used to live there. That's actually how I met my wife. My wife was her neighbor for years and years. And I was doing some landscaping for my cousin, and she went to go talk to her neighbor who just got her car back, and on that day she got her car back and she met her husband. So a couple months later I do a bit of gardening, and a couple months later I'm still here. So now it's been years.
There you go.
Love you, wife. So anyways, my cousins, they own the house, they're renting it now, so they were switching tenants, and my cousin's man drives a white truck. So he also works, he's a linesman, works on cell phone towers and various things, climbs tall places. He actually told me, I'm going to side tangent about this, but he told me rainbows are full circles. When you get high enough up, that you see the whole rainbow.
How is that not viral?
I didn't know. It was like, I figure you would have heard that
maybe it's
sooner.
Yeah.
Than from a linesman. No. Yeah. So.
Well, it only makes me think that they're just keeping it all to themselves. Which I don't blame them.
Yeah.
If you could keep, kind of puts the leprechaun shit out of luck, but...
It is fool's gold, truly. So I see my cousin, my cousin's man in his white truck, and he's there in his coveralls. So I pull up, roll down the window, and go, and my cousin's man turns around to see who whistled at him. I expect him to giggle and say, "Hey, what's up, Caleb?" This man was not my cousin's man, and he did not say, "What's up, Caleb?"
A very confused man in the dark just trying to do his job.
So I had to explain to him that I was not really catcalling him, I was catcalling another man that I knew.
He told me nothing about his plan either. He just rolled down the window. What I assumed and was right was a random man and whistled at him. I was like, oh, okay, so this is how we roll.
And we're just stopped. It's not like we just rolled by. It's just like, we're there. We have to experience this whole awkwardness.
It would have made it better if you were wearing those glasses at that point.
Alright, the neighbor's a little funky, but whatever. So, anyways, whoever you were, lovely young man, I'm not really sorry for catcalling you. I'm sorry that I assumed everybody in coveralls is my cousin's man, but it was not. So I had to explain to him all that, and he kind of giggled afterwards. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the most awkward thing I've ever done, that's for sure. But I've done that. What I was thinking of when we were doing this is we were at the skate park, and this girl was working, and a girl used to work at the skate park, Megan, and so I get checked in, you get check in, sign in, basically give your name, whatever, they know you, blah blah blah, and I'm like, Megan? And she says she mistakes me as somebody else. I'm like, no. And I was like, are you not Megan? And I didn't believe her when she told me she wasn't Megan. I was like, I went to go say, like, are you sure you're not Megan? And I had to stop myself. But I had to, are you Megan? And I basically asked her again because I stopped myself from saying, are you sure you're not the person that you're not? So...
Can't you be sure of your identity, ma'am?
Let me see your ID.
Yeah.
You must be suffering from amnesia. I know you're her. Have you ever done anything like that?
Something similar. So at the Value Village in Charlottetown, there were two women that worked there that looked kind of similar. Like, I didn't go in too often, but like I always chat up cashiers, you know, not necessarily in a flirtatious way, but anyway, I got talking to one about hurting her hand. So I went in one day and I saw her there putting away stuff, and I went over, I was like, how's your hand doing? She's like, what? I was like, your hand, you hurt your hand. And she's like, what are you talking? I was like, oh, that's the other girl. Like, not much of a story, but like, I don't think I went back. Like, I was so ashamed. I was like, oh man, this is what I get for trying to have game. Like, I'm an anglerfish. I'm not a predator in any sense of like going out and
Humbling.
Yeah, no, definitely humbling. Don't hit on girls, Tony. You can't do it. Just let them come to you.
We were staying in this hostel with this guy, and he just didn't leave his room. His whole story was that he was kind of on the lam. He was from Norway, and he got caught selling weed or something, or was caught wind that he was about to get caught, and so he fled, and he was there just hanging low key. So anyways, we would kind of do food runs for him and shit, and just, he was cool. We'd chit chat with him at the hostel, but he never left. Anyways, of course, he made friends with everybody who was in the room. It's one of these rooms with multiple bunk beds. And so we get there one night, and he's like, you gotta listen to this story. So we're listening. He said one of the girls that was staying with us for a couple days, or staying in the hostel for a couple days, say her name was Christine, I forget what her name was, but he rolls out of bed and he looks over and he thinks that it's Christine, so he just swats her on the butt, and she turns around just like, what the fuck? And anyways, he realized pretty quickly it wasn't fucking Christine.
I made an error.
Yeah, backpedaled as hard as he could, but the damage had been done, and so she basically just thought he was a creep, and yeah. So
No, I meant to smack another woman's ass.
what?
Yeah.
So it happens in many forms. Waving is, I think, actually about the most harmless one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember ever waving at someone that I thought was someone. I don't have any memorable stories, just the time I mixed up the Value Village girls.
Well, I did. So I told you I saw Josias in IKEA. And so when I was there, Josias was sitting at a table like further on, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, is that Josias? I'm like, I don't want to be presumptuous and just be like, yo, Josias, and like mistake like some other dude as Josias. It could be a delicate situation because Josias is not white, so I didn't want to be the dude who just like saw a random black dude somewhere and was like, you're my friend Josias. And so it was real, like, I'm like looking at him, and then he starts looking at me. I'm like, alright, did I just spook him out, and like he's now like, why is this dude staring at me? Or is he actually Josias? And now I'm tripping myself out. And so he walks closer, and of course it was Josias, and we had a lovely conversation. It was awesome to see again Josias out in fucking Halifax, of all places. He actually should be having his baby soon. He says
good.
Wife's pregnant with a son. He had a daughter and having a son, or vice versa. But it's his second kid, and so she was, I think he said 7 weeks. So this would have been 3 weeks ago. So 4 more weeks, unless it came sooner. But yeah, I've been in this situation many a times, and it's usually awkward. Number 113, Tony?
Do you eat or drink soup?
Eat.
Eat. I was going to say eat, yeah.
Drink the broth at the end if it's left over.
I was going to say, if you're using a spoon, you're eating it, and then if you're, drinking it at the end, you're obviously drinking it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've definitely drank tomato soup just when I was probably alone, but it's not the go-to fashion for soup.
Yeah, you can drink soup, but then you're drinking the soup.
Yeah. You just add some thick tea.
Yeah. That's another question, is soup tea?
Depends on the soup.
I suppose.
Some soup is more tea than soup. Well, that was a weird question. Not
Well,
very funny.
Well, no.
Number 114. What is a song you pretend you don't like because it's embarrassing to enjoy it? I don't have anything like this.
I literally, no, me neither, man. If I like a song, I like a song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more ashamed to admit that I like a Lady Gaga, but that's a whole artist, you know. There's really not a song that I pretend I don't like.
Yeah. I know I've got a buddy who he talks very disparagingly about the bands that he used to listen to.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking listen to Avenged Sevenfold. And to me, like, he's not the only person who does this. Is sort of like, kind of turns his nose down at who he was in his youth. Like, people do this all the time, so I can't really just single him out on this, but I can say, no matter who does it, it's a fucking weird thing to do. Like, I can't imagine in any which way it's conducive.
I guess I kind of have a similar relationship with 3 Days Grace, just because of how, like, obviously what we would have called back in the day emo the songs are.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, if someone walked into a room and were like, is that 3 Days Grace? I'd probably, yeah. You know, like, to me, I guess I'd be more embarrassed of just, like, listening to old hits of 3 Days Grace that everyone's just going to know anyway. Be like, oh, 3 Days Grace, good band, you know?
Yeah.
It's not really worth,
I feel like I can bring up an example of this where there's a band I like, the Growlers, and they got in some trouble. The way I was described is that they basically locked some girls in, or this rave was going on, and then somehow got, like, locked in, and they, like, interfered with these girls. Interfered, buzzword. So this guy was like, so the Growlers are done, and I was like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, so he does this, and then I listened to his spiel, and I'm like, well, they're not done. I mean, their CDs and just magically evaporate from my fucking, like, CD collection. They're still there, and I still enjoy them. And then, of course, later on, doing some research, turned out they just had hired a male stripper and, like, sent, like, a strippergram to one of the girls that they were on tour with, and she was not down with it. And so that's where the stink came up, and it's, like, kind of one of these PC fucking, you know, backfiring things where they blew something a little out of proportion and this band got canceled. So I feel like you could say, you know, do I pretend I don't like the Growlers because they got backlash, negative backlash? Like, that's a pretty common scenario that I think would occur nowadays. And no, I don't pretend that I don't like them. I fucking love the band. I wish the band was still together, and I wish they could just, you know, say sorry, and that's it. I mean, if they didn't really... I thought they actually committed a crime, and then to find out this was just kind of this, like, gray area crossing the line a little too much, and it's perception too, right? Like, girls' end, like, the Growlers weren't trying to fucking, you know, ruin her experience.
Just did something, a stupid joke, really. You know, just kind of one of those examples. Be wise with your money if you're making a lot of it.
Yeah, but it goes to our whole thing of, like, you take offense. And it's like, what that girl did by making such a stink should also be partly on trial, like, just as much as what they did. Like, yeah, what they did was wrong now that they know, but what she did was also wrong because she dismantled a band's career with her reactions, and so that's just not fucking cool.
Well, my question too is, like, how long did it take her to figure out it was a strippergram? You know, like, those things, from what I understand, is there's typically a warm-up period, you know, between, like, if a guy comes in a cop uniform and a boombox, that's your first clue. You know, if he puts the music on and starts swaying around, like, they, you know, there is, I've, you know, I'm not like a stripperologist. Yeah, you know, like, it's you know what's going on. Like, at that point, you'd be like, oh, okay, get the fuck out of here, buddy. Sorry for wasting your time.
Yeah.
Like, if did they wait? Were they like scared that it was? I don't know.
One of the details was that they were kind of egging the male stripper on and like throwing cash at him, and he was just becoming more and more, thorough at his job. So
they thoroughly enjoyed the performance, and then they got mad about it.
the band enjoyed the performance. The girl didn't enjoy it the whole time, and she felt like it was hard for her to say no because it was like a 6 versus 1.
So she couldn't leave the room?
These are the questions. It's like, I think the obvious answer is, yeah, she could have fucking left the room. Like, it was this whole kind of playing, but it's like social dynamics.
When like the stripper comes in and he starts his routine,
yeah,
and then like she's looking at the door and someone's like chaining it and like putting a padlock on it. Like, no, like, that would be some sketchy shenanigans, but.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like I wouldn't be too happy if someone... I just don't like strippers in general, like, do your own thing, but I don't want to be around you. But, like, if someone got me a stripper and I'd be like, oh, okay, so I guess it's time to go for a smoke now. Like, what's that, Tony? You can hide in the bathroom? Excellent. Like, get me in here.
Let me tell you about my safe place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a pretty good example of this. Like Michael Jackson, there's definitely some people who are like, they don't listen to Michael Jackson now because they think that he's a pedo. And it's like, all his songs are still fucking good. They're all bangers. Like,
well, and I was actually thinking about Michael Jackson, but I didn't necessarily want it because I think he was found not guilty and whatnot.
I know that, but I'm saying that people, they do perceive things this wonky way where it's like, oh, you listen to Michael Jackson? And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, if you want that to be your reality, where it's like you're more concerned about saving face and basically denying yourself that you like a song that you like based on this.
Do you like the song because it's a good song, or do you like it because you're envisioning him recording it while touching little children? Like, there are two very different dynamics right there. Like...
we can give them a grace, maybe say that their brain's hardwired that it can't, separate the art from the artist, but...
Yeah, I suppose, but...
I don't know. That seems just small-minded to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get it together.
People,
yeah.
General public. Get it together, general public.
Number 115. Have you ever tried to look cool in front of someone and it failed?
The most recent example I can think of was hanging out with my buddy at his place, and I was gonna go for a smoke, so I like flipped my lighter, and I went to catch it and it dropped, and he laughed at me. He's like, you were trying to look cool. I was like, come on, man, like, I'm allowed to try these things.
Yeah.
Again, the girl at Value Village, sorry. Anytime that I try to actually get to talking to girls usually ends up pretty embarrassing for me if I'm trying to look cool, because there is no cool going on with this guy. Well, I mean, like,
I know what you mean.
Not in like, I'm not a I keep trying to adopt that personality if I'm talking to people, and it's like, that's not you goofy fuck. Like,
yeah.
Like, you've always been best friends with earthworms. Like, you're not gonna walk in Mr. Suavo, like,
yeah.
It's when I try to adopt a personality that is not mine. Like, when I try to look cool. Like, I'm sure there's many instances where I've got like the Tony cool going on, right? Where it's just like, oh, it's Tony, he's doing his own thing. Oh, look, he's drinking garlic butter, like, like, it's a very abstract form of cool, but when I try to look cool,
yeah,
that's when things go downhill. Like, when you're trying to be something that isn't your authentic self, that's when you typically start mucking up and tripping.
Yeah, faking it has a very quick way of dealing with the karma.
Well, and you know what? Like, what a good lesson, Like, just be yourself.
Be your fucking self.
Mind you, there are times where yourself also needs improvement, which is fine,
Yeah.
But
generally
don't try to assume a personality because you think it's going to impress people. That just never goes down.
Yeah, and if you luck out and it does impress people, those are not the people you want to be impressing. It's going to just be this vapid spiral of a bunch of people just being people that they're not. And like attracts like in that scenario.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like any good route to decent conversation whatsoever.
No, good friends, wholesome friends.
Yeah.
That's not the ticket to them. Originally I was just going to say no to this question because I don't really feel like I've ever tried to be something that I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's two instances that came to mind. So there's one day I was it's grade 5, and so I'd got hair gel and I was kind of experimenting with, product and shit, and my hair wasn't as long as it is now. It might have been like to my chin, and so I kind of wanted the like wings that came out underneath from like wearing a hat or the curl. And for me, if I ever use proper shampoo, like store-bought shit, it would always make my hair just flat. Mm-hmm. And so why you giggling?
Okay. So I was thinking back about like when I was trying to be cool. So of course I went back to like, when have I tried to talk to women? And I was like, okay, no, there's like a handful of times. Like I've learned that game pretty quick. It's just not my game to go. Mm-hmm. And then I was like thinking about one time I was sitting at a bar and this woman came up and gave me a neck massage, and I was like, I got a neck massage once. In my brain, that's what I was giggling about. It's like, when was I acting cool? When I sat at the bar, read a book, and
wound up getting
a neck massage from this nice lady, and
you got rewarded for being your authentic self.
One time, actually,
in a book,
I was sitting at the same bar,
mm-hmm.
and it was a busy Saturday night back when they had live music. Mm-hmm. And so a girl came up, she's like, can I take a selfie with you? Because I had my afro like right poofed out, and I was like, yeah, for sure. And she took a selfie, and I got a kiss on the cheek.
Hey,
that's
authentic you.
Yeah,
It's authentic interaction.
Just hanging out. I don't know if I was reading.
Or you just got used for the afro, but either way,
I still got a kiss on the cheek. Like I feel like that's a pretty
fair payment.
Yeah. Like done and done. Thank you.
Happy with this exchange.
You're a very pleasant looking young woman, and I appreciate the kiss on my cheekaroo.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So back to my story with the hair gel.
Yes. Sorry.
What I did trying to get this
neck massages.
No, but I wanted to get this look right. Mm-hmm. So I thought what I would do is take the hair right here and just put massive amount of gel in it so it would like stick out, right?
Yeah.
And so this is what I did. I'm like getting it, and it's there. And in my mind, like kid mind, I'm like, all right, I think I kind of got this. But really what I had was just 2 fucking spikes that stuck out above each ear. And so I'm standing in line waiting to go into my class, and the other class is exiting. I just remember this girl like looking at me and then doing a double take of like, what the fuck is going on with Caleb? And I feel the hair, and it's just like, these brittle gel fucking cake spikes. I'm like, I feel the rest of it, and it's all flat, so I just got these spikes going out. And I was like, alright, this is not the way to do this look. I gotta figure out how this hair, comes to be.
So, that made me remember a story of mine.
Okay.
So back when I was this goth kid at the academy, I was doing art, and I didn't have any charcoal pencils, so I took a pencil and I burnt it. Well, then I would take the charcoal and put it under my eyes. So one day I went to school, and I don't know why I did this. Like, I literally put it on and didn't check the mirror until I got to school.
Jesus.
But only after, like, I got to school, and then, like, all of these girls are like, Tony, what's wrong? Did you not get sleep? Like, are you okay? The principal is like, Tony, are you okay? And I was just like, I'm fine! And, like, I went to the bathroom, and sure enough, I just looked like a stupid raccoon. This dumb, shaven-headed raccoon just had to clean friggin' burnt charcoal off my eyes.
Jesus.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, being a goth kid in a Christian school was a rough time.
Mm-hmm. It takes some dedication.
Well,
and some humiliation.
Yeah, no, that was the last time I tried to wear makeup to school. And by makeup, I mean, again, a burnt pencil.
The poor goth's mascara.
Well,
Burnt pencil.
the poor goth's makeup too was the stuff you'd get around Halloween.
Oh yeah.
I would use the black lipstick as like Juggalo face paint for my Vampire Freaks pictures. And then I learned there was one day like we all got together as the goth kids at the Christian school do, and we like got like gothed out.
Yeah.
So there was eyeliner and mascara and like black lipstick, and we went to a Wendy's, and like that is not very well sticking lipstick. So like I ate my burger and all my lipstick was gone. Oh man.
Jesus.
Yeah, no.
The fact that you said all of you, there's
3.
the
I was
fact that
the
there's
most
more than
lipsticked. There was because like someone had to do the eyeliner for me.
No, I just meant more than one goth kid in the Christian academy.
Well, there was basically 2 goths and an emo.
Okay.
Matt always had the emo vibe. Love you, Matt. And then my other buddy and I were the goth kids.
Okay.
And it was kind of me that struck out on the path, and then he joined up. But like it was the 2 of us like watching horror movies, talking about goth stuff. You know, looking into stuff, and then
Yeah.
my buddy Matt was always too smart to put on makeup, so good for you, man.
Just got the emo bag instead.
Yeah, he just hung out on the emo train.
There it is. So my second one of this trying to act cool. We're playing this talent show in grade 8, I guess, and so I played bass in the band, and I've discussed my affinity to be a rock star a time or 2 on these episodes, and so young me was like looking at my friends playing, and they all look like duds, you know, like one of them was in fucking gym shorts, like knee-high socks, like fucking sneakers that are too big, tied with the laces like so tight that the fucking sides are like meeting in the middle, and then the loop, you know what I mean?
That's exactly how I tie my shoes, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I think your shoes naturally have like a close fitting like lace loop scenario going on.
Well, my shoes, because I used to like lace and relay, like I used to tie my shoes, now that I kind of just slip them on as I go. But when I'm tying like my boots or shoes, like it's like it's like I'm in the Russian mob, like I'm trying to cut someone's head off. Like,
so he's got that, and the shoelace is trailing off on the ground, and then so I'm looking at him like, that's not fucking rock and roll, and I'm the only one like slightly dressed, you know, cool. So I feel like I gotta carry the band's coolness. So I decided to like jump and do a split kick, like at one point in my wrist.
okay.
Well, I jump, split kicks, land, nailed the fucking split kick. My bass fucking slams on the ground, busts the input jack, so the fucking sound of my bass just cuts out. And so I just had to be there the rest of the song just like playing bass that nobody could hear, because I wanted to be a fucking rock star and carry the coolness of the band. And now we're out of bassist. So. But we were up a fan. No, we weren't up shit.
No.
Yeah.
No one was that impressed by the split kick.
Nobody gave me grief about it. I think that it was kind of like low-key respected, but it was not really like, oh, thank God there was a split kick.
Well, also, like, we saw you drop the bass, and then we couldn't hear anything that you were doing.
I'm not sure that they noticed so much, because the bass kind of blended into that song, just very background. If it was a bass prominent song, then
Yeah.
I would have really fucked
Just
us.
doing, like, a bass solo with, like, crickets.
It was Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, so that's what we were playing in. Yeah, but anyways. I carried on, just stood up, kept face, kept playing. I maintained my cool, so
That's the important thing.
it kind of failed, but I also persevered, so it was a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know how I drank, like, the entire jug of water at supper?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna...
Yeah. Yeah.
Viewers, I'll be right back.
I'll regale them with tales, I suppose.
Please continue to tell them about split kicks and bass amps, and I will return in due order, due time.
Alright. Let's see what kind of tale I got here from... I guess I'll tell a tale in middle school. We, one of our friends, shout out Garrett, he just kind of stopped coming to school for a little while. I don't think his parents really pushed him to come to class if he didn't want to. He was always the guy that would go, hang out at his house. His parents would be smoking cigarettes in the house. We'd be upstairs basically looking at porn because we were teenagers, and he had a computer, and his parents didn't check his search history, and his computer was actually in his room. My computer was in the fucking kitchen growing up, so a little hard to look at porn on that. Anyways, Garrett was not showing up and then just kept not showing up. It was typical for him to, miss a couple days, even a week at a time, but he hadn't been there for like a solid month. So in the school I went to, Birchmount, we had to eat in our class. We didn't have a cafeteria. So come lunchtime, the teachers would leave. There'd be a teacher that'd come in, like, check on us every once in a while, but other than that, we were pretty much left to ourselves. So we found Garrett's gym shoe, and we would just stuff it full of the ends of our sandwiches, or, we'd put yogurt in it, like, whatever the hell we had, we'd just be stuffing it in the shoe. Just little kid stuff, having fun. So anyways, we keep stuffing food and food and food day in, day out, day in, day out. At one point, somebody had the volcano kit, the baking soda and vinegar, so we blew up a couple volcanoes in his shoes. Anyways, great fun. But come winter, we would stash the shoe in behind these lockers, and so these lockers are kind of up against a heater, and so we tuck in this spot where we just knew it wasn't going to get, we weren't going to get caught for putting all this food in the shoe. So anyways, winter comes around and the heaters are kicking in, and one day this class just reeks. I'm telling a story about filling a kid's shoe with the food from our lunch and hiding it behind a set of lockers in our class. So we would do this for, I don't know, like weeks on end. This guy just kind of stopped coming to school, so we just made use of his gym shoes and use them as our wet garbage, so to speak. So anyways, winter day comes around, heaters come on, and it is stinking in the class. It is just foul, sour smell. And so it's obviously wafting through the class, and people are perking up, smelling, wondering. And our teacher finally catches whiff of it, and he starts like a bloodhound. And he's looking around, and he starts following his nose through the room. And basically everybody in the classroom knows where he's going to wind up and what he's going to find. Yeah. But, of course, we can't say anything because we're all in this together. We've all put shit in this shoe, and we're not trying to get, any type of punishment for this. Sure enough, he gets back by the lockers. He's smelling around, and then he looks behind the lockers, and then he grabs the shoe and pulls it out behind, and it's just got mold, and there's crust sticking out of the where you put your foot in the hole or whatever, and he's just like, huh, and walks over to the garbage can, just throws in the garbage can, just goes back to teaching class. Didn't really ask, like, how the hell did this shoe full of, like, sandwich meats and garbage and shit get lodged behind this heater. Just was like, I found the problem. There we are. Resume math. So,
abandoned shoe plus unsupervised children. Math equals time.
The inevitable.
Yeah.
So that's my tale of that. That does us. Number 115. We already got it. Have you ever tried to look cool in front of someone and failed? Both have.
Every time I've tried to look cool.
Yeah, Tony. The curse of the cool. It evades ya.
Yeah.
Number 116. What is the strangest thing you've seen someone do in public?
That wasn't me?
Yeah, someone, not you.
Okay.
I mean, I told you about the dick in the box guy. That's pretty fucking weird. I was in staying same hostel. No, different hostel, but one of the hostels I was staying at in France, I it was morning for me. It was like maybe 10 or so, and so I wake up, go to bed, and it's this old school house that's been converted into hostel rooms and hotel rooms or whatever. And across the street is this apartment complex. So we have these old school wooden shutters to keep the light out, obviously. So I'm the last one up, so I open up the shutters and I look across the street, and there's a guy in his balcony, and he's got no shirt on, and as I look closer, he's looking down, and he's got this turquoise box, and he's just got his nuts, like, in this box. And I don't understand what's going on, but I'm, like, transfixed. So I'm, like, looking at it, trying to process, like, what the hell is going on? Does the box have mirrors? Is he checking something? Is he cutting his pubes? Like, I just don't know.
There has to be a reason for this.
He looks up as I'm trying to, like, piece together what the fuck it is he's doing with his fucking nuts in this turquoise box. He makes eye contact with me. I just drop. So I drop and I stay there, and I'm, keeping out of sight and waiting till it's cooled off. And so I waited probably 2 minutes. Like, I was partly paralyzed down there. Just, I can't get up. I can't make any sudden movements. Blah blah blah. All this crazy shit in my head. And so I finally decide to it's safe. So I slowly creep up, and my head pops out the window, and he's now there, robed. He's got a bathrobe on, and he is just dead staring, like, across the way. Like, he was waiting. He knew I was gonna, like, get back up and, like, try and look at him looking at his dick in the box or something. So anyways, we have this real awkward, like, stare off, and I just close the shutters and get the fuck on to whatever I was doing for the day. Mm-hmm. So a couple days later, we're at some pub, and I see a guy. I'm like, oh man, he looks really familiar. You already know where this is going. So anyways, he leaves, blah blah blah. I still haven't pieced together, like, who he was. I'm just like, that guy's familiar, blah, blah. I think I might have told a friend that, something, oh, that guy looks familiar. Nothing to come of it. We're on our way back to our hostel, and we're walking, basically the sidewalk went on his side of the road where the apartment building is, and we kind of had to cut to get into our place. So, sure enough, he's there, and he's just holding this door open for a lady to come in. Fuck, this is jogging another memory. So, anyways, I just look at him and I realize the guy at the bar was the guy who has his dick in the box, and he looks at me, I look at him, he knows what I know, and I know he knows that I know what I know, and he just gives me a dirty ass look, and I cross the street. He went in the apartment, and then I told all the people I was with exactly what happened a couple days earlier. So that was that. But on that same street, in the time, I don't know if it was before Dick in the Box or after Dick in the Box, a woman, she walked like she was homeless, probably junkie. She definitely was on something.
They have junkies in France?
Junkies everywhere, man.
Well, I just know that the drug culture is a bit different in Europe and whatnot, as far as I know. Junkies are everywhere. Are they as rampant as here? I don't really think. I imagine they have more of a concentrated area that they go to than here. That's my guess. Well, here is the concentrated area.
Here is. So, anyways, this lady, she comes off the sidewalk, and she goes into the middle of the street, pulls her pants down, and just fucking takes a shit. And then just keeps going. And not only did she take a shit in the middle of the street in broad daylight, but the way we were sitting, there's like only one entrance to our hostel. It's like, big enough to drive a car in, whatever. And she just shit like perfectly in the center. It was almost like she shit on purpose so that we could watch her shit. Like there's a million other angles that she could have had some privacy. Mm-hmm. And she chose dead center stage. And we watched.
She did it with confidence.
She did it with fucking, like, maniacal. Like, this is not confidence. This is, like, some serial killer shit. It was premeditated, for sure. It was intentional. Maybe it was a power move. I don't know. Who lost the power dynamic there. It doesn't really feel like we lost. We had to watch her in one of man's most vulnerable states. So that was one of the strangest things I've ever seen somebody do in public. Both in France. So
nothing that cool. One time my buddy and I were on Main Street and we saw this dude. We used to call him Satellite, not to his face. He was like a 30-year-old skateboarder.
Okay.
We saw him snot rocket like in the middle of Main Street, just like on and we were just like, did he just? And we're like, yeah, okay, well, let's go. And then in Charlottetown one time there was this older gentleman who was not homeless.
Okay.
They have homeless in Charlottetown, but a lot of them are buskers.
Nice.
Like it's not the same kind of thing as here. It's still annoying because they will ask you for change as soon as they see you, or hey man, can I bum a dart? Anyway, but there's this older gentleman on a bicycle wearing the insoles for boots, but not the actual boots.
I know what you mean.
He was wearing the insoles for the boots while pedaling his bicycle and trying to read a book. And he was all over. Like he was on the sidewalk and he's like trying to read, so he's just all over everywhere. I don't know if I usually when there's strange things going on the street, if I'm on the street, typically it's
you.
It's me doing the strange thing. That's why I clarified. But I haven't seen too many strange things. If I think of another one, I'll obviously pop in or start giggling, and you'll call me out on it. But
we'll get to the bottom of it. That whole fucking Kevin thing. I don't think I've told the. Did I tell the viewers?
Yeah, we told the viewers about Kevin.
Kevin's not chill.
Kevin's not chill.
No. Number 117. When was the last time you had a big fail moment? Jesus.
In public?
I think just... I don't know. It doesn't specify in public. It just says when was.
The last time you had a big fail moment?
When the fucking realized the volume knob had been down on the interface the whole fucking time?
The time that we forgot to hit record?
Yup. Yup. Yeah, those ones... Most recent memory.
The last time I had a big fail moment.
When I tried to make fucking pineapple jalapeno pulled pork.
I didn't even taste any of the jalapeno. I was really quite perturbed at that. This isn't just to pile on, but I was just saying, I really was like, oh, jalapeno.
When I came home, I could smell it. I could smell it a bit, but I sure did not taste it. I fucked up our supper pretty good tonight. Tried to make this, elegant, maybe not elegant, but basically space food. I had
thoughtful. It was thoughtful.
Yeah, there we go. I was trying to make us a nice meal. And the ingredients I put in the slow cooker alongside of the pork roast to make the barbecue S sauce that said pork would be shredded in and then served as pulled pork. Did not turn out well at all. It tasted almost rancid. I'm not sure the ingredient that fucked it up so much. The suspicion is on pineapple, but in my head I was envisioning these flavors, and I'm typically fairly good at this. They may be unconventional, but I usually can get it something that is at the very least palatable. This was not. This is just... It's all in the carburetor now, flushed into the sewer system of Moncton. So, fail on that.
I can't think of any big fail that I've done, and that's not to say that I don't fail all the time, but I don't think I try anything to fail that hard. The effort's not there, which tells me I need to be a bit more adventurous, but...
Yeah. There it is.
I don't know, big fail earlier when I was trying to quietly pull the stool towards me and it ended up going smack. That's what I keep thinking of. But
well, that's fairly recent.
Anytime I've tried to go to a girl, and I mean that in like a friendly way, like when you're like have girls that'll the servers at work, they'll get dressed up to go out afterwards or whatever. If I try and whistle, like I can do it all day. Like if I'm whistling to men, then like no problem. But as soon as like a girl comes out and I'm trying to give them a compliment, like a legitimate compliment here, mind you, of actually like giving them the whistle, it's like. Which, I don't know, maybe they're just leaving me speechless in another way, but, like,
It's like your body's self-sabotaging you whenever there's, like, suaveness attempted.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
God wants me humble. And he's made sure to get that point across over the years.
He's winning.
As he always does.
The Lord. Number 118. If you could live anywhere in the world, but had to stay naked all the time, where would you choose?
Somewhere in Europe, so I can live on a beach.
Yeah. I was going to say the woods. Deep woods. Cape Breton Highlands. That's what I'll take.
Well, I mean, like, this is just a pro bono. I get, or not a pro bono, but like this, like as anyone who knows me knows, I do not like wearing the clothes. So it's like, if you could live anywhere in the world and exist in your natural state, what would you choose? It's like, well, I mean, I wouldn't go to Russia because it's cold and people would beat me up. But like, if I don't know, Spain.
Yeah, that's a better answer, because that's what came to mind when I said the Highlands. It'd be fine all in the summer, but winter, no.
Yeah, no, like, am I allowed socks?
I'd like go to Machu Picchu. If there's just this imaginary thing that I can do whatever the hell I want, but I gotta be naked, I'd just chill in fucking Machu Picchu.
Okay.
I'd just be like the naked shaman.
Yeah.
Be a little weird for them. Be completely fine for me.
I've seen on Reddit, like, I've looked into nudist communities on Reddit, and like, you'll see them like, oh, we're out being nude and hiking, and it's just like, now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm against it, but if you're gonna carry like a big backpack on your back, like, that just seems like it would irritate your skin a lot. If you were like, you almost want the clothing is there as actual like practical usage, not just as an adornment.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I'll say Spain. I'll live in Spain just because Russia's not really a nude beach kind of place. But if that ever were a thing, then yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sticking with Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
The naked shaman of Machu Picchu has a boner to greet you. Number 119. What voice, accent, impression can you do? British, Australian, country, etc. I mean, I have a number of them.
And then, you want to go first? Like, and I'll do...
Well, I would used to do this whole one. I had this bit for... I played the security guard to the author known as Horoscope. So I was this sort of like... I guess probably Slavic, maybe. Be like... Hello, what's the fucking line? The intro is like... I'm here to you today to say something. I'd be working security detail for the officer known as Horoscope. Now, he still had no bad guy for me to be fighting, so he has to me to you explaining his writing. Now, today the quote of Horoscope, he say, and then I would, so whatever that accent is, I did that a lot.
Okay.
When I was out west, I was like uncannily good at impressions. I don't know if it was just me out there, but I had everybody we worked with down pat and just crack my coworker up doing all these impressions. There's this kid who he'd always had this laugh where he'd go like, yeah, no, and just like he would do it so much, and nobody really had picked up on it. And then I did it to my friend. I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like looking at me like trying to remember like where he remembers me from. I'm like, it's fucking Alan. He's like, ah. I'm like, yeah, Yeah, no. And you just, whatever you, like, said, you'd be like, okay, like, Alan, we're gonna go get these cars and, like, blah, blah, and then we gotta take them. He's like, yeah, no.
Is it yeah, no, or yeah, I know?
It's yeah, I know, but just math.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get it. Yeah, no.
Huh. What a guy.
Then Raj, Caleb, do you think I could beat that girl in the wheelchair at a race? Like, yes, Raj. She's in a fucking wheelchair. This girl pulled in with her mom, and her mom was picking up a car, and her daughter was in a wheelchair, and he's like, oh, sick wheels. Do you want to race? I bet you I could beat you. And then later on, he's like, Caleb, do you think I could beat her in a race? I'm like, dude, I was there. Like, I wasn't right next to you, but I was in the fucking room where this whole awkward ass fucking interaction,
horrible situation sprung up where you just go in to get your car fixed in Vancouver, and some dude's trying to race your daughter in her wheelchair.
Like, it would be like almost questionably insensitive, but the guy was too not aware of enough of anything to even be called into question.
Just truly like ignorant.
Like earnest, I would say. Yeah. Ignorant. He wasn't like dumb and then thought he wasn't dumb. He was just like earnest. Yeah. Which is kind of dumb, but like innocently so. I give ignorance a bit of like, they don't think that they're ignorant, thus they are ignorant. Takes a bit of like a declaration that they are not that which they are. Raj was not trying to declare that he was above racing a girl in a wheelchair. Ernest. Got any accents for us, Tony?
So, I've been known to do a German accent, and this one I will do when I'm talking to my sous chef, when I will call him Papa. Then, I don't know, whenever I try to switch accents, but, okay. I take water, I drink it, it is looking good, it tastes like water. It's very funny. It's very funny to smoke pipe. Sit with friend. We laughing. It's good time. American would be like, I tell you what now, I'll be going on down there that there creek and I'll be sitting on there having myself a beer. I don't know how the Americans talk now that I realize I just
my god.
What? Oh my, yeah, that's a good one. I'm sticking with particularly light-toned accents.
That was light tone. That was white Cali.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, I see.
Yeah, we should veer away from. Anyway, yeah.
I'm on that Machaji that. My friend knows. Machaji. I could do some patois. What is your favorite corny joke? Number 120. The viewers. What is your favorite corny joke?
Tell me yours so I have an example.
Alright, I made this I made this one up myself, so.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Fuck.
Fuck who?
Fuck you. So does that qualify as corny?
I see. That's the thing is like I don't know because like all jokes kind of seem corny to me, but I was gonna say like horse walks into a bar, bartender says, "Hey man, why a long face?" That's the best, or at least that's the one that I came up with on the spot. Because I don't know, the other one would be like, "Want to hear a dirty joke?"
Yeah.
Horse fell into a mud puddle, or a white horse fell into a mud puddle.
Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Academy is showing on that one.
Well, that was my mom's joke.
It's a good joke. It's a corny joke.
No, I think...
These jokes can't be good jokes. They're corny jokes.
Well, yeah, there's one that I hate. It's not really a joke, it's a rhyme. I kind of have to say it now.
Mm-hmm.
What you eating chocolate, where'd you get it? From the dog. Where's the dog behind the door? What's he doing making more? And, like, it's just, okay, so we were talking about pet peeves the other day in an episode.
Yeah.
Like, the whole slapstick buffoonery of confusing feces for chocolate, just, ever since I was a kid, just insulted my intelligence. Like, it's never been funny to me, and it's just, like, why are you talking about eating dog shit? Like, you would immediately know you weren't eating chocolate.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so, like, they're brown, same color, make for same taste. No, like, there's consistency, there's recipes, there's probably a stamp on it. If you pick up dog shit, you know it's dog shit. Like, no one has ever been confused. That's a lie. So one time, I was with my buddy at the Riverview play park, and there's this homeless dude there with his dog, and I was up on the play park, and I was like, oh, weird, someone left a rusty muffin, so I went to kick it. It was not a rusty muffin. I booted a thing of dog shit, and it just smeared, and it was weird because, like, looking at it, like, now I don't have a perfect vision in my mind, it was many years ago, but it looked like a muffin, like a really shitty muffin, and I was like, dope. And so I kicked it, and it just, like, my mind kind of broke because it went from, like, being muffin shaped to being like, schwang, like, and just smearing, and I was like, and I realized I'd kicked dog shit, and, like, please don't let your dog poop on the play park, man.
I've got a story. So, my friend was, I think, 14, and this guy was 20. He was a friend of ours we knew from the skate park. He was going to visit his family in Campbellton, and he asked my 14-year-old friend if he'd house sit his house for the weekend and, take care of his dogs. It went just as bad as you can imagine. We had a house party, the dogs got out, and when we got the dogs back, they were so scared, they shit all over everywhere. They're just a mess. This is not the dog shit story that I'm talking about, but I'm painting the picture. So we're there kind of helping my friend clean up after this whole debacle of a weekend, and he's just mad, like, I don't know why you would leave a 14-year-old like in charge of this. Like, yeah, we don't know either, Sparky. That's fucking weird. So
wait, so the kid that was left in charge was upset?
Yeah.
Because you hijacked his...
No, because it was way more than he could handle as a 14-year-old kid. He was not prepared to fucking house sit two big-ass bull mastiffs and, like...
Oh, they were bull mastiffs?
I think that's the dog.
Oh, I love bull mastiffs. Well, I've already talked about my bull mastiff, but...
Yeah, and they were decent dogs. They were just obviously put in this situation that was going to cause them stress and, so on. Stress, there's no win in this situation. Yeah. So...
I mean, the party didn't help at all, but...
No, he put the dogs somewhere, and anyways, but the next day we're cleaning whatever, so I'm out on the patio having a smoke, and so it's one of these old houses that has this long flight of stairs going up the back to this door, which, basically if the stairs weren't there, it'd just be this suicide door. So we're up, at least the story, maybe 2, like it was in around 2. We'll say. I don't know if there's such thing as 1.5 stories, but it's definitely taller than a story. So I'm sitting on...
Did you say it's a tall tale?
This part of it is. So I'm sitting on this railing, and this railing, like, this stair set is not up to any fucking code. It's pretty janky, and so I'm very lightly, like, resting on this railing. And my friend comes out to have a smoke, and he just turns and goes to sit on the railing, and I'm trying to, like, say as fast as I can, yo, dude, that, and I can't get these words out of my mouth. The railing gives way, and he falls, and backflips through the air, and just fucking hits the ground. And it was like, time froze. It was fucking scary. So, rush down there, like, are you okay? Are you okay? He stands up, he's like, yeah, I know, like, I'm good. I'm like, you're not, like, you didn't break anything? He's like, no, I think I'm good. And then, people would come out, so I explain what happened. They're like, fuck, like, you should go to the hospital and get checked out, blah, blah, you could have a concussion, yada, yada. And he's like, no. And we're like, I think you should, man. And so we go, I had my dad's truck at the time, and so we go to get in the truck, and it's all like, it wasn't power locked, so I had to go unlock. So I unlock his door, come around, unlock my door, and I'm going to get in my door, and I just hear a thud. I look over, and my friend's nowhere to be seen because he's now on the ground where he was just standing up.
Definitely has a concussion.
Definitely has concussion. So we get in the hospital. Obviously, we do the whole bit, explain why we're there, blah, blah, blah. They put us in the waiting room. So we're sitting there, and talking, obviously, and we can just start smelling this, like, waft of shit. And we'd noticed this old guy that didn't look too well himself just come out of the washroom. So we kind of figured it was him, like he just was stinking the place up. So anyways, we're like cracking jokes at him and blah, blah, what he ate, all this type of shit. Mm-hmm. So my friend gets called. So they had put him in a wheelchair. So we wheel him into the room where he's going to see the doctor. So anyways.
The other waiting room.
The other waiting room. So we go back out into the original waiting room. We're, shocker, waiting. So anyways, time goes by. My friend gets wheeled back out, and he's like, the doctor's basically like, don't go to sleep for a while, and we can give you some scans, but generally you seem to be alright, and you're lucky, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we get in the car, and my friend says, you know how it stunk like shit? We're like, yeah. He's like, it was me. We're like, what? So he was in the waiting room, and he kept smelling this shit, and it's just him isolated in this room. So he starts thinking, like, it's me. And so he's looking around, and he sees on the inside of his shoe just a smear of just wet, fresh dog shit. So, I don't know if you've been in a waiting room where they have that kind of disposable paper that goes across the bed.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's looking for something to wipe the shit off his shoes, and this is all he can find, the most crinkly paper in the world. So he's like taking this crinkly ass paper, wiping the shit, and it's not absorbent.
No,
so
it's not.
He's getting as much as he can, and then he just throws it in the trash can. So he says he like pulls the paper back up so it looks normal, and he's sitting there, and the doctor walks in, goes, looks at the trash can with the paper full of fucking feces, looks at Jordan and doesn't even mention it at all, and just says, alright, you here for a concussion? And just goes in. He's like, dude, it made it so much more awkward. They just didn't acknowledge the fact that there's like, the garbage can had nothing in it. They probably empty it after each patient or something for sanitary reasons. So, that was a funny dog shit story. Glad my friend was alright. Number 121. Have you ever tripped or fallen in front of a vast crowd? See story here that I just mentioned. I do have another one. So, we're downtown, and I had a friend who was a procurer of LSD. And so we were downtown, obviously just smoking weed. And so we're all on the weed. And he's pretty on the weed. So he's looking at me, and there's this cop car that we're at Robinson Court, and so the cop car had just been parked. And he looks at me, again, both very much on the weed, and he says to me, he's like, should I jump over that cop car? And to me, I was like, that sounds like a great idea. You got this, man. And so he runs and does like the hood slide over the cop car, nails it. Fucking runs back around, and there was a cop like just walking up, saw the thing. It's like, hey! And so he panics and he starts running, and it's crowding Robertson, like the crowd is parting for him, and then also closing to like get the cop kind of caught up, give my friend some grace.
Yeah, downtown Moncton has that kind of code of ethics.
Mm-hmm. So he's booting it. And he's getting away, and it's just this glorious thing. Like, we all saw this guy reel on the weed, like, slide across the cop car, run back through, and he's running, and doesn't he just fucking trip. Like a horror movie scene, just cases it on the ground. The cops come up, they cuff him, blah, 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 talk all this stuff. And anyway, spent a little time in the drunk tank that night. And that...
what a terrible place to be on the weed.
Yeah. He was telling them that, he's like, I'm on the weed. Like, if I spit in you, I'll spit in your eyes, and you'll be on the weed too.
The best thing he could have said.
Yeah.
Surely, that's how that should have played out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I must have, but I don't care ever really about embarrassing myself too much. Obviously, I don't try to do it, but...
I've fallen down, but like at the same time, I worked in kitchens, so like it's not that bad. A vast crowd, by no means.
Yeah.
Although there was a story about, okay, so this isn't a vast crowd, but it was vast enough for me because I was a part of it. There was this guy at school who I did not particularly like. He was not popular for all the right reasons. Okay. You know, like he was this spoiled kid who just, yeah. If you did, he could do whatever he wanted to you, but as soon as you did something, he'd tell the teacher or he'd tell his mom. And this is the same kid that I tripped in the bathroom, and then it was the whole conversation. He says you did. I didn't. Tony says he didn't. So, anyway, same kid. So he definitely had never had a girlfriend before in his life. And so there was this girl at our school who, it was an appropriate crush, I'll say that. And so like he was talking to her, and this was the day of MSN, so he's like, oh, can I get your MSN? And he's walking away from it's like, you know, he's flirting with her while she's in the car with her dad. And so he's like walking away, and it was winter, and he just fucking slips on ice and eats shit. And this guy had no pain tolerance, but he had to try and look good for this girl. And like, God bless you, man. You did really well, because I've seen you cry so many times over the years for just the stupidest thing. And he was like limping, like it was a war wound, like going past the car, like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. like we're in grade, I don't know, I want to say like, it might have been grade 10, and this kid was still the kind of dude that would cry if he fell down.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, but anyway, that was, and I saw it, and that was just, now, the Bible says not to delight in your enemy's downfall, and the Lord, I hope he gives me at least, like, a one-off, you know? No. Like, one needs to be a mulligan.
The Lord was the ice that day, I tell you.
Well, I really do try to not delight in other people's downfalls, but, oh, it felt so good to see him just flirt away and then just have that crushed. It really is quite out of character for me, but like there was just this one dude who, like, I met him in grade 3, 10 full years, I did not like that man. Kid.
Yes.
Boy. Dude.
Child.
Whatever he was. Anyway, he fell in front of his crush, and it was hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah.
There it is.
I myself I'm really pretty good at not falling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I have good balance, but like I can walk on ice pretty well. Like I've probably fallen on ice maybe 5 times in my life. Like I'm not a woo, you know, like there are times where my feet have gone from underneath me, but typically I'm pretty good. And then in the kitchen I've fallen maybe 3 times over the last 10 years.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Especially since I've been in dish pit for most of that time, so like a lot of water on the floor, but usually I can slide around there pretty good.
Typically.
Yeah.
Steady-footed man.
Look at me go.
Number 122. What is the weirdest fact you know?
I don't think that's fair.
That's the question.
I know a lot of... I won't say I know a lot of things. I know a fair amount of things. Like, echidnas have 5 penises.
Oh, what?
Echidnas. Like the porcupine things that aren't.
Oh. I just kind of vaguely know. No, but...
Okay, well, an echidna. For you at home, you can look it up. It's like a porcupine-looking thing with like a longer snout.
Yeah.
And they have like, it's either 4 or 5 penises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mine's animal related too. 90-some% of polar bears are left-handed.
Okay. Yeah. Neat.
Yeah.
I feel really quite ill-prepared. Like I feel like
I'm not a fact guy per se.
I like tidbits, and I've seen so many Reddit threads of just like, like useless facts.
Yeah.
But I'm drawing a blank. All I can think of is the echidna penis.
Well, there you go. Zoologists, after all.
Yeah. No, look at me go.
Number 1.
Butterflies can taste with their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. I know that raccoons, they dip their hands in water to eat because it like tenfolds their senses and dexterity or something, so they know if food's good or bad, so they'll dip their hands in water.
So that's why they wash their food.
Yeah.
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 A bee's penis explodes when he orgasms.
That I did know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if not his penis, something happens. Something blows up when a bee comes.
He croaks, don't he?
Yeah.
I did hear that. Number 123. What is the strangest joke someone has asked you? Wow. Strangest joke.
The strangest joke?
I'm sure it's just some like raunchy dark shit that I've
Yeah,
just like
that's the thing of like,
left.
like
If this has occurred, I'm not trying to remember it.
yeah. The strangest joke.
It's also funnily worded. Asked you? If you don't really
Yeah.
ask, I mean, you guess you could ask. Just tell a joke.
Wow, this is... I mean, frog on the head joke would that be strange?
Did somebody ask you or tell you that joke?
Not really, it's just a funny joke.
I guess there's this old dude at church growing up, and he would be like, "What's your number? Cucumber." It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
He giggled. It was a joke to him.
Sometimes the best kind of joke.
We can move on.
Yeah, we're really, like, I thought the weirdest, like, when I heard weirdest fact, I immediately perked up, and then I realized that, like, I'm drawing a blank here.
Strangest joke. I guess strangest joke. This kid, we were going to a show, like a concert show, whatever, in St. John, and it's my buddy's friend. He's like, "Can I come with you guys?" We're like, "Yeah, sure." We had room in the car. So anyways, we drive up, get to the venue, pull in. We all open our doors. He opens the door and then just takes a bottle and starts peeing in the bottle. We all in just, plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little weird. And then we're like, all right, like, you come in the show? He's like, no. We're like, do you don't have money? Like, we can get you a ticket. The ticket's $5 or some dumb shit. He's like, no, I just wanted to come for a drive. And that's the first time we found out that he just wanted to come for a drive. But he could have just said that at the start. It's not really a joke, but
It's not a joke, it's...
fucking strange.
I feel like we're just getting lost in a paradox here. Like, we're entering an alternate reality. No, I can't think of a strange joke. Strangest joke someone's told. And if I can think of one, it's certainly not one that I want to say on air.
Yeah. It's probably where they all lie.
That's typically... Okay, alright. There are 3 nuns riding the tandem bicycle.
Okay.
And they're giggling. And the first nun at the bicycle, she says, "Stop giggling, sisters, or we'll put the bicycle seats back on."
Nobody told you that?
Okay. Yeah, no, that was a dude, one of the cooks from a restaurant I worked in. So this next one is off color.
Alright.
So there are two nuns fist fucking a pig.
Classic.
One nun turns to the other and says, "I have to get out of this filthy habit."
Yes, you do, sister.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Number 124. If you could have one useless superpower, what would it be?
I don't...
If it's useless, do I really want it?
Well, because what they mean is, like, if you could travel in time 1 second or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Like...
I could fill up my own cup with water whenever I chose.
Yeah, but that's not useless.
Well, it's kind of like very singular. I can't fill yours up.
I know, but it's still... You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Okay.
The useless superpower joke always kind of like... Those just bother me. They're not funny. They just bother me. Just because of the fact that they're useless. So it's like, is it... I think I
can teleport 5 feet.
5 feet would be super useful if you're jumping something.
Exactly.
I can raise and lower my cholesterol at will.
I can know what year any didgeridoo is made.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking grasping at straws with this. Even useless superpowers are kind of fucking useful, or like,
I can
interesting.
fold and unfold my eyelashes. I'll just take prehensile eyelashes.
Say that word again.
Prehensile.
What does that mean?
Like a monkey's tail or an elephant's penis. It moves. It can move like a...
Okay.
Yeah. Another weird fact, elephants have prehensile penises. There's a lot of... Why am I the animal genital fact guy today?
I don't know, man. But you're doing a good job.
So, I mean, I'm sticking
I
with
am
it.
educated. I knew none of these things
There's
until you told me. So
just so many things about the phallus that's going on today.
Number 125. This one's kind of cool. Which sport would be funniest if it had mandatory alcohol?
Women's curling.
All right.
My
answer is anything in the fucking Special Olympics. Or like youth, anything youth, like 10 and under soccer.
Honestly, I just like sport. 10 and under soccer, like Pee Wee leagues.
Yeah.
Okay. Volleyball seems like a sport you can play when you're drinking.
Fucking synchronized swimming.
Okay. Yeah.
Gymnastics, period.
Pole vaulting.
It's just death.
That'd be rough, man.
It's not to get over the bar. It's not to get impaled by the bar. That is the task at hand.
I'm just imagining a dude like missing the thing completely, like falling over, or someone like getting over and like getting caught up in the bar and just puking on their way down, or just landing and puking. Like there's just vomit. One time there was a place on Reddit called Monkey's Paw. I didn't quite understand the rules, but I said I want there to be a sport where people just eat laxatives and fight each other. And it doesn't relate to alcohol, but I think it's
kind of in line with this question's vibe.
Yeah.
I think we crushed that.
Funniest with... Yeah, because I mean... I was going to say football or like soccer, in the American vernacular. But, like, I have a feeling a fair bit of that goes on anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Manchester United.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yep.
Number 126. If animals could talk, which would be the most sarcastic?
Crows. Cats.
Cats, yeah. I agree with cats, house cats.
I think I still stand by crows. I think crows would definitely mock you. Like, they would be hard to get a straight answer out of.
It'd be funny if it was turtles. They're just like live so long and go so slow.
They're just so tired of everyone else. Yeah, for sure I'll race you. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I can see that working out well.
Yeah.
Number 127. What is one thing that people consider trashy but you consider classy? Thrifting, maybe? I know some people that wouldn't wear used clothes.
Yeah?
They're just not really...
I'm not really a trashy person.
No.
I mean...
Peeing in the sink. That to me is some high class shit. You've got, like, especially as a tall person, you've got a properly heighted urinal, and usually you have
you
multiple.
can just wash it down.
Exactly.
I wouldn't consider it classy. I just consider that practical. Like, that's makes sense.
It feels high class to me. If you have it, there happens to be a cup nearby, you can just fill it with water. You got a little bidet. That's yeah, living large, my friend. Number 128. Did you want anything else?
No, like, I don't know. Like, for the closest thing I could think of was, like, keeping my incense ash on my dresser because I think it makes it look authentic. Like, not cleaning your incense burners. Oh, welcome to Tony's wacko world.
I like that. Number 128. What's the most awkward first date you've ever been on?
How many stories do you have?
I could tell two. They're not like...
If you have two, you can do one, I'll do one, and then you can do one, and I'll do one.
Alright. The one that came to mind immediately was this girl reached out to me, and we got talking, and I was like, okay, I'll kind of suss this out a bit further, so we decided on a date. But while we were talking, the subject, like before the date, the subject of fake tits came up, and I'd said it doesn't really seem like it'd be my thing. I've never felt some. I imagine they feel weird. I picture them feeling like harder than should be, and just seems kind of like just not my thing. And she agreed.
I don't even like fake nails, let alone anyway.
Yeah, it's like fake tease. No thanks. She agreed with me, and then when we went on our date, I pride myself as a perceptive fellow, and my perceptions indicated that her protrusions were partly prosthetic. That was kind of, I mean, it didn't make the whole thing awkward, but the whole thing was also just awkward for complete other reasons than that. But that alone was like, why would you put yourself in this scenario if you have fake tits and you're talking to a guy about fake tits? I get it, like, if it's something you have and you're like trying to, like, you know, basically vet, like, is this gonna be a deal breaker? And
yeah,
that, you know, but then to agree with me that they're strange and
Well, she has first-hand experience.
She could have just said, well, I have fake tits.
They are strange, but I look good.
Yeah. So, that was awkward-ish. You, sir?
Do you want the dark one first, or do you want the really awkward one first?
Dark.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking dark because I really don't want to end mine on this note. So I was talking to this girl on Plenty of Fish, and I don't do that anymore. Don't worry. But like, so we hang out at the we meet at the Starbucks. She shows me her art, her jewelry, and everything. I was like, okay, dope. This girl's great. You know, like she's entertaining and she's engaging. I might have a touch of the downs though. But anyway, yeah, this is her.
Full on. Oh yes, this one.
No, this one.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go to the movie. She like starts cuddling me right away, and I mean, I was even like, okay, I like this, but this is way too fast. So we're walking back to her place, over that bridge between Champlain, like basically the mall in Moncton, you know, where it like does the divide.
Yeah.
And we're in the dark. And then she starts giving me a list of how many times she's been assaulted and describing to me all of these instances on our first date, walking in the dark. And I was just like, this is, like, it got dark, and I was like, this is not, like, you're oversharing right now. Definitely awkward. Only dated her for another 6 months, but, like... Definitely an awkward first date.
You don't quite get the whole red flag concept, do you?
No, man. Like, red flags,
we can work with that.
Yeah, no, there's... Because it's always, like, been taught, like, don't be judgmental. That you need to be discerning in who you spend your time with, and she just was not a good fit. Like, you know, obviously I'm not gonna like just be like, oh, you've been assaulted, get out of here, trash. But like, but it was just, she was a bit too forward, a bit too quickly, and then on the first date, dropping all that. Like, I mean, kudos to you. It is a vetting process, but like, you know, she just
it's a lot.
Let it go, and anyway, that was definitely an awkward first date.
I went to the carnival on a double date, and we went, you know, the spinning strawberries? You know what I mean by those?
Yeah, they're somewhat strawberry-esque and they spin.
Yeah.
Like the teacup ride and any other.
And they got that wheel in the middle that you can also spin for yourself.
Okay, yeah.
So the girl that I was on my date with in the double date, she said, you know, I hate those. They make me sick. And so we were like, well, we want to go on them. And she did not have to go, but she decided to, and of course we spun the bejesus out of that table, and the ride stopped, and she wolfed all over herself, and my friend and I could not keep a straight face. She was distraught. She was so embarrassed. It's not really awkward, but it's about the closest thing I can get.
It's definitely awkward.
For her,
it's awkward to be someone... No, like, it's... If you're hanging out in a party, you know, if you're in a group of friends and one of them just has vomit on them, that's awkward. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, I feel for the girl. She should have stayed off of it. You know, I would say she probably wanted to impress my man here. But, like, you know, definitely upchucking is not the best way to go around about that. Like, that's not the most elegant situation.
No, so she went and got herself cleaned up, and basically my friend's girlfriend, they had been dating for a while, so there was a more seasoned relationship. So when she saw that her man was just cracking the fuck up with his buddy, she's like, you two get out of here now. Go where she can't see you. Like, you cannot control yourself, you idiots. So...
Yes, this is terribly funny. You can't rejoice in it, however.
Out of sight. And thus we went. There's that. This girl also told me that women drivers are just as good as men, as she blew through a four-way stop. It's like mid-sentence and just fucking through the four-way. It's fucking beautiful. God smiles. And I know when he does. Because that's hilarious. Yeah. See, one night said, I went down to the university that she was at, and then she, we had broken up by this point, and she messaged me and said, like, oh, I heard you were down on the weekend, and I was kind of being a bit of a, I don't know, being me. I was like, what do you have, ESP? And then she says, no, we only get 2 channels at the dorm.
Oh, wowee! That's amazing. That reminds me of one time, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, I had these buddies in school.
Yeah.
And they both, like, they were in families that they liked guns, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got this group of this Christian school. Guns are not the hottest topic, you know? So they're passing notes in class, and one day my buddy sends a note to the other buddy. He's like, hey man, you got your tickets for the gun show? And he was like, he's striking a pose and everything, like, because he was all in the bodybuilding and shit. My buddy Tim sends him back a note. Yeah, I think I'm going with Mark. Because he had literal tickets to a gun show. That one always cracks me up because it's just my buddy Mike trying to be a dumbass. Like, it's just showing off his muscles, and Tim's like, yeah, I'm going with Mark. I just love that one.
That is beautiful. Alright, give us your most awkward.
Okay. So, I get talking to this girl and on Tinder, and I didn't have a car at the time. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, this was not recently. Anyways,
no.
So I get her to pick me up at the petrol can near my house, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to like get some? Like we've been talking about slushies. I was like, you want to get some slushies?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, yes." I was like, "Dope. Like let's get some slushies and chill." And she was like, "All right, cool." So like I go to the petrol can where she's waiting for me. I was like, "Dope. You ready to get those slushies?" She's like, "No, I don't really want a slushie. When you said like slushie and chill, I thought you meant like Netflix and chill." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was like, "No, I literally just want a slushie. Like we can do a drive around or do some shit, but like, you know, like I'm not looking to perform the coitus. Like just anyway." So then she proceeds to just do a huge loop around the city.
Okay.
And she's just talking the whole time about, like, basically giving me all the reasons why she is not an attractive mate. Being like, yeah, no, guys shouldn't like me because I swear like a sailor, and, you know, like, I'm not so clean, and I belch, and, you know, like, I don't use a knife when I eat my chicken, I just, you know, and I was like, oh, yeah, I know, like, I gotcha, no, I just pick up food, and I just eat it off the bone, oh, man, I love ripping into food. She's like, ew, no, like, I mean, I'll just stab a piece of chicken with my fork and eat it like that. It's like, alright. And then she kept on, what was that guy, Kutzky, the really, really fast white rapper? Wasby or Watsky or... Anyway.
Yellow Wolf.
Who?
Yellow Wolf.
I've heard of him. Anyway, I don't like music that I don't listen to anyway. Anyway. But I was like, oh yeah, no, he's adorable. Like, he's a really good... Like, she's like, are you gay? And I was like, well, I want a fucking date with you. Like, so then
Well, meeting you.
Yeah. Anyway, so then she keeps going on, and she basically gives me ultimatums like, if you give me this answer, I will kick you out of my car. And we're up by the airport, and my parents, this is how long ago it was.
Yeah.
My parents, like, I was not bringing up dating to them at all. And so I've got to basically, like, I'm held hostage in this vicious woman's car. And by the way, her profile pictures did not match.
No.
Her subcompact had a lot of work to do. Put it that way. So I'm held hostage in this
I don't
car.
even know what that means, but I know what that means.
So we're driving around, and like on the way back, she like flicks her hair. She's like, "So what do you think of me?" And I was just like, lie, like in my brain. I'm not a liar typically, but like in my brain, I'm like, lie, you son of a bitch, lie. I was like, oh yeah, no, you're great, yeah. Like I've had such a good time. She's like, I'll drop you off at your house. I was like, fuck no! You drop me off at the Picchu. She's like, well, I'm just worried. Like, what if you don't get home safe? I was like, no, I'm gonna be fine. Like, I'm gonna be a lot better than if you know where I live. Like, just got her to drop me off. And I got dropped off at the Picchu. I was like, okay, bye. And I like waited until she pulled out of the parking lot before I walked back up my street.
Yeah.
So then the next couple days, or week or whatever, she's like, oh, so when do you want to get together next? Because she basically told me, she was like, you know, like she's like, oh, I fuck around a lot, but you're the kind of guy that, you know, I've put up these emotional barriers, these walls, and I feel like you could really break them down. So typically I would have sex with you, but because like you seem really cool, I won't. And I was like, all right. Neat.
Fucking game, yeah. There's
yeah.
Like reverse.
Like,
psychology.
I'll have sex, meaningless sex, but you seem like you're a really cool dude, so I won't have sex with you. And I was like, this is all off the table anyway, but thank you for telling me the game plan. But anyway, so like I'm at work the like couple days or a week after, I can't remember. She was like, oh, so when do you want to get together next? I was like, yeah, my brother's going to be in town for the next couple weeks, so I don't think I'm going to be able to hang out. And she's like, all right, cool, that was a really fine blow-off. I was like, thank you, I'll be here all week. And that's the last fucking thing I said to her. Like,
Jesus.
that was, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm usually, like, as Caleb said, I'm very tender. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not looking to hurt anybody. If something doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
She threatened to kick me out of her car out in the middle of nowhere, Dieppe. Like, I was terrified, man. You want to talk about awkward? I'm in a fucking hostage situation. Like, all right, like, don't make the big lady angry. Like, flee. That was definitely takes the cake from most awkward first date.
Do you have any tabs still on her? Like, do you know where she wound up?
A couple years later, she was still on Tinder. That's about all I got. My buddy told me that like he went to high school with her, and he was like she was basically just part of the high school group that just like went around trying to find people to engage in snuggle time with, in a very biblical sense. Slushies and chill. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing, because at moments she could seem so like abrasive and aggressive.
Yeah.
But in other times she'd pull back and like do this, you know, like almost like a girl that's seen a mouse like routine. It was just like, this is jarring and terrifying. Like, I don't know if you're going to be like snapping at me or no. I'm really glad that I saw the red flags on that one. Like that, in order to make my like little Tony in my brain press the big red button and be like, abort. Like, there's nothing salvageable. Run.
That's
something
odd
else
to me when I meet people that are like this, that are like, they're like extrovertedly pseudo self-aware. Like, I'm the type of blah blah, I'm this, and they're just constantly telling you who they are. And it's like, if you've noticed all these things, how did you not notice the glaring fucking one that's right here, right now, where you're annoying as fuck, telling me all these ways about who you are and how you are?
I've noticed this trend of not so much recently, but I've noticed a trend with people that like, they take pride in the things that other people don't like. Mm-hmm. Like, I had someone list off like, well, I'm an atheist, I don't like Star Wars or Star Trek, like, and just listing off these things, and it's like, why would you keep tabs on that? Like, why would that be anything that you even devote your time to? It's like me going around being like, hey, Caleb, guess what? I hate Fast and Furious. Like, who cares? Who needs to know? Just find people that like Fast and Furious if you're into that, you know? Or
so, how did you hear that they were an atheist? They have like a translator with them?
I knew immediately that's what you were going to say.
You know they can't speak, right?
That's what I've heard. I've heard through the grapevine.
Well, number 129.
I would say.
I don't even understand this. What's your favorite white elephant gift? Does that mean a gift you've never got?
No, white elephant is, I think it's, give me a sec, I'll look it up. I think white elephant is like round robin or some shit.
Like you get it and then you give it to somebody else and you keep giving it?
Like, it might be a Secret Santa thing. Just give me a sec. White elephant game. Gift exchange is a popular Christmas event. It's Secret Santa. Wait. I gotta look up how to play it. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. Oh wait, there's a list of rules. White elephant rules. Place wrapped gifts in the center of the room. Draw a number. Number 1 chooses a gift, unwraps it, and puts it on display for all to see. Gifts must stay in view at all times and remain in original packaging if applicable.
Oh, yes.
4. Each subsequent number has 2 options. Steal a gift or choose an unopened gift. 5. If a gift is stolen, you may steal from another or choose an unopened gift. 6. Gifts can be stolen up to 3 times. A gift is frozen with the 4th owner. If number 1 has the same gift they started with, they may trade with any unfrozen gift. 8. The jig's up. Wasn't that a blast?
So Yankee Swap is what my family calls that. I got a Gotham grill. It's like a non-stick pan. That was... There wasn't a whole hell of a lot that I wanted. I brought a fucking necklace that I had made. My friend was glassblower, and I made this pendulum. It was super nice. And then the person who opened it was... what did I say?
You said pendulum.
Pendulum. Yeah, thank you. Pendant.
No worries, buddy.
The guy who opened it was like a 50-year-old construction worker. And he was just like... didn't understand what it was at all. I was like,
it doesn't go on my truck.
This keychain's just gonna break when I drop it. So anyways, I think he wound up giving it to his daughter, but nobody would take it from him because of his reaction. Everybody's like, what the hell is the garbage that he got? And I'm like, it's a necklace I made. No, I didn't make it. No, I just was like, fuck, Caleb. That was a really nice gift. And
it went to a construction worker. Not to say that construction workers are any less than any of us, but I think we can all agree that necklaces are not typically your number 1 choice for construction workers.
No, he didn't know how to process that.
That's all I mean.
Yep.
That's not to disparage those brave men and women who work on construction.
You're not on trial. They know. They don't.
Wow, like I said, I always think, like, I'm thinking ahead in the future, and I just don't want to be on a podium and have, like, the workers' union being like, what about that time you talk shit about construction workers? And I gotta be like, blah, blah,
said we couldn't appreciate necklace.
We love necklaces, you bony fuck.
Yeah, they're all wearing puka shells.
The Hawaiian Workmen's Union.
Aloha. You get a favorite white elephant gift?
I've never played the game.
No?
Wait, maybe I did. And if I can't remember playing it, I don't think I can remember what gift I got.
Yeah.
I think typically...
It's not really a place where you get a gift that you're like, fuck yeah.
Well, because nobody's going to put a lot of money into a gift that... No.
I got a ball of whiskey once.
Ooh.
Well, they set a limit, like $30 or something, and so I wound up being able to steal the whiskey from somebody else. So,
well, it seems to me like it'd be a fun game to play. As like, I don't know, because like I'm not a competitive person, and that seems like a competitive game of like, oh, I want this.
You only get one shot. So, like it said, like when your number's up, you just either look around and say, I'll take that. And if you take it, like, that's about as far as your competitiveness goes, because you don't have any means to defend yourself.
I thought you could keep stealing it back.
Not typically, no. Like, it can keep getting stolen back if you continue to go around the numbers, but it's like, usually you just go one circuit. Like, the first person opens a gift, and then they're just there. They can't steal anything. So that's why at the end, the first person can choose to either steal a gift or keep their gift. And so the second person goes, and they can look at the first person's gift, and it's like, do I want that gift, or do I want to open another gift? Typically, the second person opens a gift, because there's only one gift in play.
Okay.
So the larger the numbers are, the better it is, and it's the better it is to be further down the chain. So, because if you're number 20 in a group of 25, well, there's already 20 gifts or 19 gifts open before you. So you can look at those 19 gifts and wager there's only 6 gifts, or six gifts left in the pile. I see something I want, I'll go take that. There's 5 people left. Those 5 people technically could take your gift, but you have better odds of not getting your gift stolen because there's only 5 people. Whereas if you're the 5th player, like, your gift's probably going to get stolen. Unless it's a necklace and your construction worker who made a big fucking stink about it. And so, that's...
Yeah, no, I can't even... I was never one for even Secret Santa. They tried to start that at a workplace I worked at, and they're like, Tony, do you want to do Secret Santa? I'm like, what the fuck am I going to buy for anyone here? Like, I can't buy gifts for the people I know, let alone, like, coworkers I can't even pronounce your name. Like...
I love giving gifts. I fucking always do.
I know you're really good at giving gifts. At some point, I'll get you back somehow.
You'll know. Number 130. Where is the worst smelling place you've been? Safe answer, Rome. Unsafe answer, a home. You?
Do you remember I was a janitor for a little bit?
So the place you worked? Or places?
Well, I'm just... Okay, that was not... That was... Okay, so remember when we talked about acting cool and how you look like an idiot? That was an instance. I was trying to say, I've been to a lot of bad-smelling places. The dump?
Dump's pretty damn bad.
Okay, the worst... Okay, if we're... The worst was probably a tie between... one time my mom and I were stuck behind a sewage truck.
Yeah.
That was rough. And then there was a time I found a dead animal in the woods near my house, like right next to the lake. I'm sure it was a fucking wolverine. It was too big to be a small dog. Like, it could not have been a dog. Like, anyway, and I poked at it with a stick. As one does.
Yep.
And the fur, like, went... And, like, it was just, like, the skin underneath. It was all purple. That smelled pretty bad.
Jesus.
Um...
Oh. I went to take your kid to work day with my mom. She's a nurse. She was working in the operating section of the hospital. I could see a knee replacement being done. The smell that day, never forget that. It was, I don't think the worst smell. It definitely wasn't, nobody's making a deodorant after fucking burning knee or like saw bone. But it was very, very distinct. So, there we are. Number 131.
Women's bathrooms. In a particular restaurant that I go to, the women's bathroom always smells way worse than the dudes. Like, it's definitely not the worst smell that I've had, but, like, I find because women's bathrooms have, like, the deodorant in the air often, the scent. My theory is that all the fecal particles, like, attach to the scent particles in the air, and it lingers. That's my theory.
Freeloading shit heels.
That's basically my theory. Women's washrooms do not smell as good.
No, I can attest to that too. I had to clean the men and women's washroom at MacArthur's, and typically the women's had more to clean. Number 131. What is the most fruitless talent you have? I could, like, kind of sarcastically say fingerboarding. It's really not. I love it. I have blasts, and it helps me out of a lot of things, but it's, you know, you can kickflip crook a fucking napkin container. Yeah, buddy, I can. It's not going to bring us world peace. It brings me peace. So
I don't know, man.
I don't agree that it's fruitless, but I'm just saying.
Closing the door with my foot when I'm going downstairs and I have my hands full, but like that gets the door closed. So I don't know.
One.
I'm not saying that I am a man of many talents or a man that is particularly gifted, but typically if I do it, then you know.
I can answer this in a very clever way. Most fruitless talent I have is being able to see exactly what a person is doing wrong and know exactly how to fix it. Because sometimes it doesn't matter how well you know and understand. They gotta do it themselves.
I can mop a really good floor, and nobody really cares.
Yeah, that's
about it.
Oh. Number 132. If you got banned from the library, what would be the reason behind it? If it's here in Moncton, it's because I burnt it down, because that place always gives me haunted vibes.
Really?
I've not, especially the upstairs, I've gone in there and tried to, like, paranormal activity fucking fight the ghost, and I've won temporarily, but I don't
You ever banned from a library? What's it for? I tried to fight a ghost.
They didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I looked normal.
I don't know. I can only imagine that I'd be looking at something people would find reprehensible.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only thing that I can think of, but that's what a library is for, looking things up. Yeah. I'm not talking about pornography, just so everyone gets that out of their head right now. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm a really quiet person, typically. But if I was to be kicked out of a library or banned from a library, I can only imagine it would be because I was there with friends and I got loud. Like, basically, the only reason you should be, you know, like the most common reason you'd be banned from a library.
Mm-hmm.
One time I went there to read a book because, you know, what's this guy doing going to the library to read a book? I was like, I'll try something new, go to the library, read a book. And then these two, I'm assuming they were homeless dudes or they could have just been like real dirtbag dudes. They came in and started like rolling cigarettes and just talking real loud and being really obnoxious. And I was like, alright, cool, I'm out. Yeah, libraries, they're not that exciting.
If I did get banned from a library, it probably would have been for peeing on some books. I'm just going to leave that at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. High school.
Ah!
Pretty sure it was the cooking section. I had to go. What funnier place to go. What is... No, we did that. Do you think penguins have knees?
Yes.
I guess. I mean... It's got to work somehow.
These weird and funny questions.
Yeah. Just like weird fucking very advanced ankles.
Well, it's... I mean, but we could just Google a penguin skeleton, like, and then, like... You have the internet, Logan. Like, this is...
Oh, I thought you were saying from a place where you actually knew. You know they have knees? You're just assuming...
I'm like 99%... Now I'm going to look up if penguins have knees. I'm assuming they do. If I'm wrong, then so be it. We've just learned something.
Do penguins have knees?
Huh. Maybe they don't.
Really, yeah?
No, that would be their ankle. Huh. Neat.
Now you know.
Well, I'll do a...
You literally just taken the question.
No, wait. They have knees. You're looking at it at a weird angle. Their hip bone is attached to their pelvis back here.
Okay.
And then they have knees up near their rib cage. That's why it doesn't look like they have knees, because their legs are... It's all the fatty tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Penguins have knees. Sorry, people.
Myth busted.
They're doing the service of the Lord.
We are near the end here, Tony. Number 134. Why is it called lipstick if it doesn't stick your lips together?
Because it sticks to your lips, and it also comes in a stick.
Yeah, I think because it comes in a stick. Also, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Logan.
That's not a weird or funny question. Like, I don't want to be in a group of people that are stumped by this and get really...
You mean you don't want to be at daycare? Yeah, this is for the fucking 10 and under.
Yeah.
Hammered, playing soccer. What's the silliest way you've accidentally injured yourself? I'm sure I've got more than one.
The silliest way?
There's never been like a bad... I mean, I skateboard. I've had some good wrecks. But...
Just kind of looking at my scars if anything comes up.
Yeah. I know, drunk doing parkour. I've also succeeded quite well at that. So.
One time I got drunk and tried to climb a fence, and now I have a really cool scar on my bicep.
Yeah.
I'll show you later, I guess. But
sounds good.
Yeah, no, that's a silly way, I guess. Another one was I was in the bathtub, or in the shower, in the tub, as you are placed in the same location for different methods of cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this thing where I like to crouch down in the shower, and I wouldn't let the walls or I wouldn't let anything touch me, so I could sit in the dark and just pretend I was on the moon. And one time I went to get up, and I got tramp stamped by the fucking bathtub faucet.
Damn, Diane's got that exact... Do you have a scar from it?
I don't know. I would assume not. Not a gnarly one anyway, maybe a little one, but...
Same with her, just a little one, but...
Yeah,
precisely that.
I got up and got tramp stamped by the bath faucet. That's the silliest one that I could think of.
Yeah, mine's TBD. TBD. For... Basically, I gotta pee. I'm not peeing until we're done.
Okay, I was gonna say we can't.
We're flying through this, baby. We got one last one. I already got my answer for this. Number 136. What would be the worst bio for a dating app? Relatives only.
Mine comes from experience.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what raw dogger meant, so I was sitting.
That was a hot dog enthusiast.
Whoa,
a competitive eater.
Well, because
unsolicited competitive eater.
So I was at my buddy's place. He's playing Fallout New Vegas, and he's making a character, and he's like Tony, and he looks at me, he's like Raw Dogger, and I was like, that's a dope name. So I went on Tinder and had my name as Tony Raw Dogger, and
Yep.
I didn't find out for a year.
Jesus.
What that meant, so I just... I need to remember that situation more often when I'm worried about doing something small and it coming back to harm me.
Yeah.
I still somehow...
A whole year.
Well, I've never had anyone be like, weren't you that guy on Tinder named Tony Raw Dogger? So yeah, no, we'll get you.
I still got matches, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you no doubt would get matches. This is it.
That's it. Relatives only and Tony Raw Dogger.
There you go. You have something for us?
I do.
All right. I have something for you while you get something for them.
Today's Russian word of the day comes from Russian classes at Instagram. The word is strashny, which means scary. Straszny.
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 You're focusing too much on whatever sound is not in the word. Straszny.
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 There you have it. Straszny. Which means scary. This has been Russian Word of the Day. Thank you so much for joining us. We're sorry for all the pee breaks. We drink a lot of water with our supper. And, nature calls, and it's always a good idea to answer that call. You don't want to tell that one to go away too quickly, because eventually we'll bust down your door and you're getting raided.
Yeah.
By that I mean you'll pee your pants. So, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Leave us a like, follow, comment. Love to hear from you. And we'll see you again here soon on Smugglers Cove.
Love you all.
Here at Smugglers Cove, we've got what you need. Everywhere you go, we'll see you on your feet. How will we know? Two hunks on a couch. We might sit and smoke, but you know that we don't slouch at Smugglers Cove.
Smugglers.
We'll see you real soon.